Alrighty, welcome everyone. Sorry we're a little bit late. Just had to do some housekeeping, get some stuff done before we could start. All right, let's start off with the word of prayer. Dear Lord Jesus, we thank you for today. We pray that you'd be with us as I work on commissions, and be with us in the chat, able to have a good time. We be a light. In your name I pray, Jesus. Amen. Alrighty. Lights going here. All set up. Let's start off with a nice sip of coffee. Okay. Christy, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Just finishing up a commission here for a client. I need to open up this background I sketched a little bit ago. And I need these layers. Layers. 1, 2, and 3. I can bring these back here. Okay. Nice, nice. Where's the ring? This might not work, so it's supposed to be a window built in within a mountain to for it to look like a window, obviously holding the glass. It might not work with like a window pane around it. Let's see. Ah, thank you. Hi, Mike. Hello. Welcome. Mike and Christy are both very good friends of mine, and Mike is actually a frequent, well, it's been a while, but he's a returning guest on and off on the Nerds Galore podcast. Very good friend of mine. We'll actually be hanging out hopefully tomorrow morning. Yeah, that ring might need to move if Sancha will be cut out of the frame. Oops, what am I doing? So let's try and move this. Just need to be able to include Sancha here. I think we can, yeah, I think this would be good. So it'll look like the rocks are just kind of in front of the window pane. Because again, we need as much of tiger in the back visible as possible. I think that's gonna work. And a lot of this window pane is not gonna be visible at all. This technically, where is the rock background? So one of these layers somewhere. There we go. Wait a second. Okay, that's what I'm missing. I'm missing my sketch layer. There we go. So I still gotta draw this, I guess, love seat? I guess, was that the best way to describe it? Like this little cushion deal that they're sitting on. Okay, and what brush size? We should be on a 10.5, right? Let's see. So now we're just sketching the cushion in. Yes, this looks a bit rough. This is, however, just a sketch commission, so it's not exactly meant to be super refined and cleaned. However, it is fairly refined for a sketch commission. I went a little overboard, but that's okay. For Nightfall, who is not only a Patreon member but a very frequent client, I think it is well worth doing a more refined sketch. The end of that cushion is going to be right about there. That one is a bit too large, I think. Planet Fox, hey, what's up? Nothing much for me. Just had to run some errands today, and then just trying to finish this commission. How about yourself? Oops. By the way, I went on your X account and was looking up your characters. You have some great characters. I would love to draw your sci-fi character. I forget her name. So we have these little drawers there. Of course, man. Of course. And looks like we got seven of you there in the chat. Welcome all. We're just we're almost done here with this commission for Nightfall. Speaking of which, I should actually send the link to Nightfall. Assuming they're at work. That is one problem with having an evening job, is when everyone else is at work, I'm free. But hopefully that might change one day. We'll see. If I can make this my full-time job, some way, somehow, that would be, well, that would be a real blessing. See, Planet Fox, what's an Andy do for a day job? What does an Andy do for a day job? That's a really good question. So, for the day job, this is my day job. Just art. Again, been working on, where is that? I know I keep bringing it up every stream, but I gotta raise awareness for it somehow. For about a year, I've been working on this book, Sophia and the Dragon. Hopefully the final test print should be here Monday, and if that comes out just as well as I was hoping, I'll just be able to print about 100 copies, and then I'll be able to start taking pre-orders for that pretty soon. But my real job at the moment is the evening job, and that's at the local courthouse. I'm the night janitor. So that's what pays the bills. What does a planet fox do for a job, if I may ask? And a little bit of texture. This is, again, a very old castle. It's going to probably be an older cushion. Actually, had some patches there, so it's had some stitching. It's seen some better days, probably. Oops. Well, yes, need to show over there. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, sorry, the chat's going. Let's see. Christy, thank you. We buy one for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll have some copies for you guys available. Thank you. I appreciate that though. Buy one for sure. Warphammer, hey, how's it going, Warphammer? Long time no see. Let's see. Work on his slanderous dragons are mean propaganda. Yes, for sure. I hope your Dragoness character doesn't hold it against me. Uh, let's see. Planet Fox. I do telecom stuff, installing routers and network gear and stuff for AT&T. Oh, very cool. Awesome. My brother was gonna try and work for AT&T at one point, like fixing and installing software on phones, but that didn't pan out. Let's see. Warhammer. Uh-oh. Very cool. Warhammer. I do overly complicated network stuff for Nokia. Nokia. There's a no kidding joke there somewhere. No, Nokia, but I don't think that works. But that's awesome, you guys. We got some very tech savvy people here. Okay, what am I doing here? I'm gonna hide the sketches. Oops. Okay. Again, we have gone way overboard on most for a sketch, so I'm not too concerned with delete some of these extra layers with detail in a moment. But there's this sketch layer. Okay, where is? Here's my Sancho's layer. Background layer should be down here. Need some more rocks. Where's the imported layer? 15. Bookshelf. Let's see. Planet Fox. I used to work with Nokia gear when I worked for the gas company. Oh, very cool. My friend Follow Fox recently went full-time as an artist. I guess it's pretty rough at first. Follow Fox is full-time doing art? That's awesome. I need to find out what's their secret. I need to get in touch with Follow Fox a bit more. But yeah, I guess it's pretty rough. You really rely on making sure you got some money saved up in case things go poorly, but then just really relying on commissions. Man, they're going full time. I should probably reach out and get some of my Fox characters drawn by them. Okay. Let's see, Warhammer. I help people implement a network analytical anti-DDoS software. Oh, that's a mouthful. Package for ISPS. And I have a meeting about that in a few minutes. Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Just don't tattletale to okay, I gotta pull it up. What's the character's name again? Oh shoot, I forgot to upload. What was her name? Your Dragoness's character. Pulling up that piece right now. Talon. Yes. Don't tattletale to Talon that I have a anti-dragon book coming out. Okay, then where is Sancho's lair? Sorry, Sancha. Your tail, or your lair, is going to be... Okay. Actually, let's see, I need a brush. Here we go. Ooh, I'm actually really liking this brush. I don't even know what brush I selected. I guess a round watercolor brush. I've been seeing a lot of ads for like digital watercolor brushes that you can use either on Procreate or on here on Clipstudio Paint. And they look beautiful. I hate to personally, I would hate to have my artwork look like watercolor and people be like, "Oh, I love your watercolor style," when really I'm not doing watercolor. I have a lot of respect for artists that do watercolor. It's just such a beautiful medium to work with. Sorry, Planet Fox. If you want to join his Discord, just let me know, and I'll send you an invite. I might hold off on the Discord, only because I have so many different Discord memberships that I'm a part of that I'm just like, it's a lot. So I'm a little hesitant to join another one, but I will definitely be reaching out to Fallout. I should probably do that later today. Nightfall, hey, howdy. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I just saw your message. But yeah, look at what we got. We got bookshelves. If this thing will zoom out, 1 second. It's glitching on me. There we go. We got pretty much everything set to go. Just need to add in the light colorations now. There we go. And I can also erase. There we go. So now we at least have like some semblance of a window frame built into the mountain properly. Yeah. Sancho's part of her image was removed, unfortunately, but I think that was a-okay. And I have a sketch layer here somewhere that's visible. Where's that? Oh. Okay, I'll find it. Somewhere out there. Beneath all these layers. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna actually import. What am I doing here? Quickly import one of our earlier sketches so I can get the right palettes together. Thank you guys. You both commenting on the piece. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm also very happy with how it's coming together. Paint. I'm gonna import. Here is one of the earlier commissions we did with Ilara and Sancha. Of course, wanting to wheedle, is that a word? Whittle her way into the royal court as Ilara's advisor, and eventually taking over the throne. Okay. Actually, I need the full white here. All right. Then all the inks. Let's see. Sorry, characters. There we go. Flipping layer. I'm gonna get that bluish coloration of the inks. Sancha gets her own. Because of course Sancha would get her own layer. Flipping layer. Feeling. Merge some layers. Merge like yeah. And I'm actually going to just extra layer. Another empty layer. Bookshelves. I'm gonna merge those two layers. Turn on alpha lock. Change the color. Also, I'm gonna alpha lock. Let's see, 8 of you. Howdy, y'all. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Looking very cozy. Thank you. Love it. Looks amazing. Planet Fox. Kind of want to draw one of my own characters in a little book nook like this. Hey, you should definitely do that. I am expecting to see that illustration by the end of the week. Nightfall. Thank you again for this lovely sketch. It's always nice to have you give life to my Iredale setting and its characters. Well, thank you so much for commissioning me. I'm happy to be that person to help with that. It's been a real joy and a real blessing to work on your characters. Um, okay, so I got the inks done. Now I can fill in our characters. So, actually, I should check. Yes, clothing are also the same. So, making sure I didn't need to create like a different color for clothing. Oh dear, what's going on here? This is one of the problems I'm having with Clipsea Paint. I've been having it for I think years now. It's something to do with my computer. I don't know why, but the Elastic tool tends to will do what it's doing right now. It tends to snap to something, and I've checked everything. I'm not snapping to any grid. It just does it on its own. It's really obnoxious. It takes a lot of time away from me. See what I'm saying? It kind of does its own little thing. Yes. Let's try to think. Tomorrow I should be streaming again, and there we'll do the pay what you want sketch commissions. They will not look like this sort of sketch. This is a bit more of a refined sketch than I normally do. Uh, they'll be extremely rough. Yes, they are pay what you want commissions. So if you're like, I just want a quick little doodle of my character, uh, yeah, then you're welcome to hop on. Oh, I'm so used to working on flats for my book, Sophie and the Dragon, or just regular flats as I normally do for other illustrations, that I automatically try to separate the color of the character and their clothing from each other. These sketches, they're all one and the same, including him, so he can just be included in that selection. Let's see, Planet Fox. So the pay what you want commissions, where do I sign up? Okay, let's see. You gotta remember. Oh, you just so sorry, I'm all scatterbrained at the moment. Pay what you want commissions. You just hop on. There's a commission form in the link tree down below, or you should be able to just send me an email with a commission form. Sorry, that was very poorly explained. I need way more coffee. In the link tree down below, there's a link to the commissions page, and that will have prices and particularly the commission form that you need to send me via email. And then from there, I'll send out the PayPal link, probably here on the chat. And you can pay before I start the sketch, you can pay after I do the sketch. I've had people do both. I would say like a suggested amount would be like maybe like $5. something like that. $3 to $5 would be helpful. But yeah, it's pay what you want. Let me know, Planet Fox, if all that made sense, because I was very scatterbrained trying to explain that. Let's see. And then Nightfall. I'll try to hop on that. That'd be awesome. Planet Fox. Ah, cool. I'm gonna sign up for one of those for sure. For sure. And it's first come, first served. So if you want to guarantee a spot, just be ready once I go live. And depending on how things go, sometimes it's like 1 or 2 sketches that I'm able to do. Sometimes it's only one. It really depends. I can actually pull up a sample of what the sketches look like. Let's see. A second. Where was the last? A couple weeks ago, I did. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good. I had a better example somewhere, and I think I might have deleted it. One second, let me check the trash on here. Okay, yeah. Let's restore that. Put back. And then I can open that really quick for you. Probably should not have done that in the midst of a selection. Load, because it's taking its sweet time. Yeah, so this is pretty much, this was our last Pay What You Want commission stream. There, some are a little more refined than others. So this was this is the Bud the Wolf's character, Sheila. Oops. And then of course this was Lotharen's Tiger Bard character. Or Tiger, sorry, Lioness character. And then the rest are my characters. Yeah, they're very quick little doodly sketches, nothing too detailed. So yeah, so that's what to expect for the Pay What You Want commissions. And then of course if you're wanting like something more detailed, kind of like this commission, this would be your typical sketch, a digital sketch commission. This is about $20, $20 to $25. Of course, the more characters you add, the higher the price goes. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you, Planet Fox. I look forward to hopefully seeing you on tomorrow's stream and drawing one of your characters. I know you meant, well, I was gonna say, I know you mentioned, like that's sort of like a Pulp Fiction, sci-fi, your sci-fi Fox character. I do comics as well, So if you ever wanted to try, like, what would a page of a comic look like with your sci-fi character or any of your characters, I do comics. I feel like I'm hearing a strange echo. Do I have... I wonder if I have my live stream opened up. I do, yes. I had it open on YouTube and then open on Patreon at the same time. So that's why I was like, I'm hearing myself like triple times. And seeing my image of myself on screen, I do need to shave pretty soon. Okay, where was I? Yes, back to selection. I'm doing so much talking that I'm not really getting much work done today. Okay. Nightfall, when is the wedding? Sometime this fall? Let's see. Here we go. Shortly before Thanksgiving. Oh, awesome. That's gonna be great. That's a great time to get married too. Oops. Where did you go? Autumn is one of my favorite uh, seasons. I think it is my favorite season. Let's see how we do. Pretty good, pretty good. Indeed, should be nice and cool, which is great given we live in the southeast. Hot and humid most other times. Yeah, that does sound like the perfect time to get married then. I'm sure she's doing all the planning, but since it's gonna be autumn, are you gonna be having the wedding outside or indoors? Let's see, at my parents' place is where my sister got married. We have, oops, that's a my dad, he's very much got a green thumb, and he's very much into taking care of the lawn and setting things up very nicely. He's a decorator. Our house, my parents' house, is nicely decorated because he puts a lot of time into it. Our house is half of it is his stuff, decorations. Just not the office. The office is all my stuff. But all that to say, we got married, or we, man, I cannot talk today. My sister got married. Uh, at my parents, and it was gorgeous. And we've had other people actually get married at my parents because they take really good job in the yard. All to say, outdoor weddings can be really nice. That was way too difficult, or too complicated a way of saying all that. Not all the planning, but the lion's share for sure. We're getting married indoors, but there will be lots of autumn flowers. Nice. The reception venue will be venue has a outdoor area though. Oh, nice. That sounds like fun. Get back. Okay. I see how I said I wasted a lot of time with this lasso tool. Let's do paint. Oh my goodness. Okay. It has a lot to do with the angle of the pen for whatever reason. I don't know why. But granted, so I'm using the iPad and the Apple Pencil. This Apple Pencil has been dropped many times by accident. You set it down and it rolls off the desk, or got butterfingers, it just goes flying. So maybe that's what's going on, but I like to just think it has a mind of itself. But even though I have trouble with the lasso tool on here, I like it better than Procreate's lasso tool. And that's technically the main reason I do my color here in Clip Studio Paint rather than Procreate. It's just I do not like their lasso tool. This is a pretty neat coloring method. Thank you. Yeah. So this is something that I learned when I was in Taiwan for animation. I was actually staff at that time, I think, but for animation school, I was part of a missionary organization where we made art and media for unreached people groups, and specifically we worked in animation. And we eventually it went into comics, but we had I was one of the flatters for the background art. And flats is just pretty much what I'm doing. You take the lasso tool, and yeah, that's the way of doing flats for comics and stuff like that, is with the lasso tool. And then you build the colors on top of it. I do apologize. It seems like today I'm having a very hard time explaining things. And has everything, I assume, everything to do with using different sides of my brain. I'm assuming that art and talking are two. They might be the same side, who knows? Let's see. Planet Fox, like a lot more laborious than the flood fill tool, but I guess you have to when you have open line work. Yeah, that's very true. For me, like I know people say, oh yes, always make sure your line work is closed. I don't know how they do that. I have to go over every square inch, every pixel of my artwork to find the those open lines. As you can see, I'm very loose and sketchy with my line work, so it doesn't really work to have all those lines closed. But yeah, no, if I can get the fill tool to work, and sometimes it does very nicely, that's always a huge blessing. the trick is to make sure that your color actually goes all the way through to the center of your line work. That's the tricky part, because the lasso tool might only send the color pixels to about like right there, and really you want it here, so that in case if you were to accidentally move, it's technically for printing, in case the printer has different layers and something gets shifted on accident, you're not like suddenly when you see the printed version, there's the line work and then there's this little gap of color in between. It's more just for safety for the printing, but it's a specific setting. You have to have your fill tool on the paint bucket tool. But yeah, actually a really good, the shameless plug actually for the school that I was a part of. They're now two different schools. One is called Animissions. It's a organization within Create International, which is within another organization called YWAM, Youth with Missions, Missionary Organization. But Animissions is a 6-month program where you go in, you learn to draw, but specifically you learn Blender and how to make animated films using Blender, which is a free open source program. When I was there, it was specifically using Adobe Animate back in the day. It was Flash for a while, then it became Adobe Animate. And then once I left, they transitioned over to Blender, which I'm kind of glad I wasn't there for that, because we did learn Blender in animation school, and it never clicked for me. This is a really tough program. But around that time that we were transitioning into a different type of school, one of our former students who became one of my best friends, Ian Lammy, which by the way, you can find him on Instagram and X, and here on YouTube at Artful Thinking. Again, that's Artful Thinking, Ian Lammy. Great artist, by the way. He's done work for like an independent D&D company, book company. Great guy. Anyways, he and another fellow former student started a comics version of our ministry, and I got to go in and help as staff for 2 of those schools, right? 3 of those schools, yeah. We had 2 in Washington State. The second one was in the midst of COVID, that was wild. And then we had one in Japan where he moved to and is starting to run the school. I'll have to eventually have the link here on my on one of these descriptions down below. So then that way, if folks are interested in going to Japan to learn comics, again, it is a Christian missionary organization. So your projects you'll have 2 projects. One, obviously, the lecture phase, learning to make comics and all the art programs. But these, you'll also be working on your own personal project, so your own comic that you want to work on. And then you'll also be doing a missionary comic. So within Create, like I said, we create art media for unreached people groups, people within the 1040 window that haven't heard the gospel, or there aren't enough resources in their specific local dialect to explain the gospel. We will create a comic for them. We'll work with missionaries or local believers, and they'll tell us what kind of story they want. They'll help us with the writing, the scripts, and then we'll do the artwork. And yeah, it's a really cool school, really cool program. I'm no longer with the organization, but I may go back and forth and help run the schools. Ian is a great guy. Again, he's one of my best friends. So I'm very happy to recommend the schools and all that. And of course, who doesn't want to go to Japan? Japan is a beautiful area. We were in we were in Osaka, at the very edge of Osaka, right, that bleeds right into the Kyoto prefecture. So we're right, we're about half-hour train ride from Umeda City, and another half-hour train ride to Kyoto City, which is where I went to church. Great area. We're in a rural area. Our town is called Kanmaki, or Takatsuki is the bigger station right next door. So a lot of people just say, "Oh, it's Takatsuki," but technically we're in Kanmaki. Great place to be. Okay, so we have our characters. Now to color in the eyes. Let's see, Planet Fox. I've been using the lasso fill tool a lot lately for things like fur markings. Ooh, yeah, that actually makes sense. I should probably do that instead of just lassoing and then hitting the fill tool. Just have the lasso fill. I don't know why I don't do that. That's actually really smart. That sounds pretty interesting. Like I tried to learn Blender, but took one look and was like, nope. Yeah, no, I get that. It's a really difficult program to learn. Um, at least personally, I think it is. Okay, and then Sancha, I think she's gonna also have a little bit of color here. But we'll turn down the opacity on her. Yes, Blender, really cool stuff. I know like Netflix, they started using Blender for some of their, or rather, the animated films that they've been acquiring, because I don't know if they are in-house productions or just acquisitions. But a lot of independent studios are going over to Blender because it's super powerful. Like you can do anything that you could do on Maya. It's just open source and free program. And of course, we all know that Hollywood is not like anything open source and free. They're like, no, no, you must spend millions of dollars on a program that could do the exact same thing rather than free because we are Hollywood. Um, let's see, just there we go. Okay, what do we do for the backgrounds again? Oops, yes, we turn down their opacity. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Uh, oh, okay, that's what's going on here. I was like, there's something different with the color. Sancha's dress is actually a very different color. That's really unique. I don't remember doing that. Am I correct? It's a different color? Yes, darker color. Now I'm kind of like, do I dare make Lara's dress a different color? 3D might be beyond your capabilities. I get that. That's me. It's too mathematical and to me counterintuitive. Counterintuitive. My brain does not function that way. Shoot. Let's see. I want to try that watercolor. Here I go again, going overboard, but I gotta try this. Curiosity killed it. Oh, yikes. Too dark, too dark. See, when I start adding things to artwork, it becomes a if you give a mouse a cookie situation. If you draw one character's clothing a slightly different outfit, you're going to want to draw the other character's outfit differently too. And when you do that, you're going to want to add shading, and then you're going to want to add the highlights, and so forth. I will not go that far, but I want to see how this goes. Planet Fox, I really like the design of their outfits. Yeah, they're really great designs. Again, these are Nightfall's designs, I think. Yeah, yeah, they're Nightfall's designs. I had to have a split moment where I was like, did I design Alara? No, he already had some references. Whether it was Nightfall himself or a different artist, it's a gorgeous design, that's for sure. Come on. Wow, the lasso tool does not want to cooperate. Oh, wait, so I know how to speed up the process. Just make a clipping mask, and I don't have to color within the lines. I'm liking it, I'm liking it. Perfect. Yes. Oh, you know what? That area would not actually be visible. Just regress actually is back here as well. So, I'm gonna erase that part back. Okay, background, where art thou? I shall find you. There we go. There we go. Okay, now let's find this dress because we have just a couple more tweaks to make. We'll make it just barely noticeable. I don't know. What do you think of that, Nightfall? Let's see. I'm trying to think what else do I normally do with these. Nothing else gets colored. Just the eyes and maybe a little bit of shading. Where's the characters? There we go. Looks great. Awesome, awesome. Now I just need to do some shading. Oops. Perfect. Again, every time I add something, I may be going overboard, but it's always worth a shot. Really, we just need some shading here. Let's see. Okay, I'm missing a really cool conversation here. Let's see. It's one of the reasons set my comic in medieval Russia. Ooh, very cool. What? And that sounds like a cool comic. Where can I find it? And you're only 11 pages in. Have you posted any of that to like, or have you posted any of that anywhere? That might be a mistake. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Where else would I need this? Okay. What else should happen next? Now I need to find all these background layers again. Yeah, that's usually what I do for our backgrounds is lower the opacity. I wonder though, where should I leave the bookshelf full? What do you think, Nightfall? Do you want the background just full opacity, or do you want it the opacity lowered like normal sketches? Let's see. That's fine. I follow a lot of in progress works. Yeah, for sure. Planet Fox. Even if you're, I mean, it's up to you. But even if you're a couple pages in, like, we'd love to see that. I'm thinking of posting it on Twitter once I get a buffer, but just my website and Discord for now. That makes sense. Yeah, having a buffer. I know some people that they have a 20-page buffer. I know other folks, a friend of mine. Yeah, I've been on for a while. Braden Huggins, his comic concerning justice, which I don't think is going on anymore. Um, I think he had 100-page buffer, which was a lot. What we have here is my background. Perfect. Sounds good. Okay. I think if that's the case, then we're just about done. I need to quickly add my signature. I'll add that. Add it here to one of the books. Let's see. I need a distort. Need a view. Huzzah! I'm now within the library of Iridel. All right, folks, there we go. We have. I realize I'm missing something here. That my marking for the brush size is here. I gotta find that. Oh, yes, and we usually have our sketches semi-visible. Gotta find a nice balance so it's not distracting. I see a marking that I want erased. Everything else I think is pretty good. Okay. Is it part of the background? It is part of the background layer. I do not like that Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Erase. Huzzah. These two are so cute together, and this is such a sweet moment. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, that's background. Gotta keep those filthy sketch lines away from the mother to be. Something here. Good. I have one extra layer to do. You know me, I always like having the. Where are we? That's one. Wow. I like having the construction lines on the heads. Just barely. But you know what? I don't want that. I think it's too sweet and tender a moment. I do not want Lara's moments. Um, I gotta fix that tooth. There we go. Is that, or is that too big? What? The other line, I barely. I might keep that because I just barely noticed how big her teeth were. Maybe that's too big though. I'm not sure. I'll leave that up to you, Nightfall, if you think her tooth is a little too big. Let's see. Also, again, I can never let things rest. I want to see, can I get a, say, a reddish glow to Alara? Yeah, just like that blush. Let's say overlay. Nope. What do you think of that? Maybe move that behind her eye. Otherwise, it looks like she got punched. Right there. What do you think of the blush there, Nightfall? Do you like that little bit of blush there, or no, too distracting? You like the blush? Perfect. All right. Well then, if that's the case, guys, I think we are done with this sketch. I will be sending you the PNG pretty quickly, Nightfall. Thank you for the opportunity to work on this sketch. This was a lot of fun. Okay. Export. Let's see. And this PNG. And this will be appearing on Patreon this evening, and then it should be on for Affinity and DeviantArt next by Saturday, I believe. And I'll quickly send this your way. There you go. All right. Thank you guys so much for hopping in. This has been a lot of fun. It's only 1:57, and normally we go till 3. So, yeah, I guess at this point we are done with the commission. Wait a second. I just realized, what about this window? You know me, guys. I always find something. Yeah, there we go. I'll resend that your way. But yeah, all that to say, what should we do next? We can start the pay what you want commissions today if y'all like, since we have plenty of time. Or I'll just start doing some of my own artwork. Let's see. Open file. There we go. Okay. Nightfall. I'll have to pop off shortly. Work meeting in a few minutes. Thanks again, Andy. Of course, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for hopping on. And again, this was a really fun commission to work on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Save. Yes. Why do we save? Because Jesus saves. See, 1920 by 1080. Yes. Thank you very much. Right. Lean back. So right here, I'm drawing my girl Haru. Oops, the eyes might be a little too small. She is our main character for the comic Barbarians. Coming soon, whenever I start working on it. Two head, three head, four head. I like what we got so far. It's a little too big. And Haru's design has changed a little bit past year or two. So her ears used to be more like a border collie ear, kind of perked up like that, which I still like. And I'll probably do that. I'll keep that there when like her ears are perked up for something. But to give her more of that motherly, calm nature, I have her ears pointed down now, more like a golden retriever. And can't forget she's got those ponytails. Peta Fox, I love her already. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. These are some high quality doodles. Thank you, thank you. I think they're a mess. They're very chaotic, but it definitely helps that I know what I'm doing, well, semi what I'm doing when I'm drawing Haru. Let's see. So Haru's only outfit is chainmail bandana and a loincloth. Now in universe, she's a big oh what's that dog breed? She's a mutt technically, but her base breed is I think the Pyrenees, Great Pyrenees mountain dog. So that's her base breed, but she's a mutt. But all that to say, she's very fluffy, very furry, so she overheats quite quickly because she is not in the mountains anymore. So she doesn't have as much to wear. And the true canon of what, or personal reason why she wears that was it was a joke. Haru was I created Haru with the intention to be like, okay, I want to make a fantasy like Conan the Barbarian-esque pulp fantasy, but with an appropriately dressed character. And then as I was designing her outfit, I started with a bandana. And I was like, oh, what if it was a chainmail bandana? And it was so funny. It was so cute. I was like, you know what? I'm sticking with that. She's just gonna wear the bandana. You know how like in like Balto, or you see like a lot of dogs have the bandana in cartoons. We're supposed to explain the joke. Oops, no, I did not mean to open Apple Podcasts. Go away. Shoot. She looks really huggable. Oh, yes, for sure. That's her whole thing is she's just a sweet motherly dog in a very dark and evil world trying to protect her puppies. And once again, Andrew struggles with hands. Let's see. I'll have to use my Lord of the Rings dagger here for a sample. If I okay, thumb. See, this is what you can expect from Pay What You Want doodles. They are very they're prone to very inaccurate anatomy. This sketch is getting out of hand. This hand is killing me. I gotta figure this out. Let's see. That's the poem. Oh my goodness, that is atrocious. Let's see. Better at hands than Rob Liefeld is at feet. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know all about that. You know what? I don't think I've ever actually seen a drawing of Liefeld's feet. Uh, that is a really weird sentence taken out of context. Oh boy. Um, I what's that YouTube channel? There's a great channel on here, and I'll have to find it. Um, he does that's funny. He does really cool videos on like different comic icons uh throughout history. So he's done the Rob Liefeld. He's wow, can I speak? Done Todd McFarlane. Um, oh, what's the guy? The Duck Man. What was the artist? I forget. Like different comic artists the throughout history. Really cool stuff. Japanese, French, English, stuff like that. Anyways, he did some videos on Rob Liefeld, and it was really funny to hear. Yikes. Okay, I will figure this out. So, oh, let's see. It's gonna go here. I'm gonna stick with what I had before, because at least it looks somewhat like she's holding onto an axe. Right now she's got a satchel. Of course, her tail is behind her, but you won't see much of that. Big lady with even bigger axe. Yes, for sure. Who would suspect that this dog, this sweet lady, could be a savage animal? Yeah. Let's see. Garfield's artist didn't know how to draw feet, so he asked Charles Schultz how to do it. That's funny. That's actually really funny. I did not know that. What's the artist name for Garfield? It's not Ken Anderson. Is it Jim? Jim Davis. Jim Davis. Had to think about that for a second. Who's Ken Anderson? I know the name. Ken Anderson. Okay, I'm Googling that right now. Who's Ken? Ken Anderson. Not N. Come on, Google. Ken. No, not a football coach. That's not who I'm thinking of. There's a Ken Anderson. either in animation or in comics. Or maybe I'm just making stuff up, I don't know. Let's see. Mouse Boy, hey, welcome. Let's see. I'm really bad at drawing human style feet, but I'm pretty good at digigrade characters. Same, same. Well, I'm not great at digigrade characters either, but I'm better at it than human feet. I cannot draw a human foot to save my life. But if we ever get monetized, or not monetized, but once we hit the right amount of subscribers, and I am able to get monetized for the right amount of super chats, I will attempt drawing feet on here, human feet. Let's see. Mouse Boy, how's it going? Let's see. The bigger the axe, the bigger the fluffy tail. 100%. So now I have to show you how fluffy Haru's tail is. So that's her bottom half. Again, she's a very robust dog. She's got some thick calves. Let's see. So it's not a very good tail, but that's about her tail. You can have it higher too. Let's see, I gotta do bigger, better paws. Fix. I gotta just draw a paw to save my life today. Typically don't draw. Let's see, I want to draw this character now. Oh, awesome. Well, hey, you're welcome to. I am always happy to have people do fan art of my characters. And if you send a link to that, I will be sure to show that here on a stream, as long as you're okay with that. Whatever I was saying. You get rid of the little coin pouch. Feel like now I gotta lower that. No, I'm gonna leave it as is though. Let's see. She is a cutie. Thank you, thank you. Erase those lines. The ear's too big. What am I trying to do here? not very Haru looking face. Come on, brush. There you go. It's not a very Haru-ish face, unfortunately. Uh, Let me fix that, I think. Let's see. I'm good, thanks. Oh, mouse boy. I'm good, thanks. Nice curly tail go floof. What's your ergonomics hot take? Ergonomics. You'll have to explain ergonomics to me really quick. Ton Fox. That's just precious. Of course. I hardly ever draw Haru being cute. She's either protecting her puppies or looking sad, actually. There we go. This is a bit more like Haru. And here you can see her ponytail better. That's one of her pups gave her. Oddly enough, I have no name for the little girl pup. I have Twig, which I already have a Twig character, which is Willow's mate. So I might need to find a different name for him. But I have Twig, the male pup, Rush, the kitten, and then for the little girl pup, I have yet to come up with a name. And the chainmail always changes for drawing. Sometimes they're, oops, yeah, no, that's not marked. There we go, that's better. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's large. Actually, yeah, I just want the neck. Beginning of the chainmail. Huh. Let's see. Okay. Planet Fox. I pretty much judge all characters by how huggable they are. Understandable. Uh, Mouse Boy. Ergonomics, like ergonomics, the design of chairs, tables, clothing to best suit the human form. For answer characters such as how would holes in pants or tails be made, elastic or belts. Ah, I understand what you're saying now. Would doors all have soft close so tails wouldn't get slammed? That's a really good question. I've never thought of the door slam one. I'll have to think about that. Really have to think about that. Yeah, no. Let's see. What was the original question? What's your hot take? Oh, I gotta think about that. But no, these are all really good questions. I think about these sort of things a lot. Uh, Design of chairs and tables and clothes, stuff like that. Holes for the pants. Um, Poofy. So we got Haru here. Let's draw over her for a second. So I have two different ways I draw clothing for a character with tail. Usually I just draw, say if she's got a dress, I draw a dress, and yeah, there's a tail, there's a hole for the tail. And of course, their tails are poofy enough, you're not gonna see anything, so it's no worries. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna open up another page that I did. I had someone asking something kind of similar, not exactly your question, but and I, oh, what am I saying? There's some Q&A questions that I got of someone asking Haru a question very similar about her loincloth. And let me pull that up here really quick. Okay. Sesame. Okay. You guys can find it on for Affinity if you can't read it from there. But yeah. So obviously my characters, they have fur. They're animals. There's actually nothing to hide. Um, so that's how I design my characters. But it's more of a fashion statement, and in their world, maybe they would be like, no, I'm not wearing anything. But every character design is different. Um, I'll have to say, yeah, they don't really need to worry about hiding anything. So I either draw my characters with a hole in the trousers or dress for the tail, or you can have let's say her tail is down here. You can have the dress kind of fold with the tail. Wow, the brush is not cooperating right now. But I think you guys get the basics of what I'm saying. You can have it fold with. And if that's the case, then she either would have like leggings or something underneath, or just wouldn't care if you saw under there, because for that character's context, there's no shame there. Hot take though? Goodness, I have a lot of questions when it comes to, let's see, how to word things and what exactly do, because I think a lot about like how does a world with anthropomorphic animals work? Where does dairy come from for baking? Those sort of questions. I also think about like if you're a new mom and you got to nurse a baby, is it just like animals? They don't care. They just nurse them out in the open. Do you go somewhere, or are there? So say Haru just had a baby. Does she wear special clothing to nurse her baby underneath a little shawl, or do you have a dress that's kind of buttoned up? And then if with that same question, even though I have given her more of a human figure, what is animal anatomy like under the fur? So could she nurse multiple children at once, essentially? I'm trying to be very careful how I word things on here, but that's not really a hot take. That's just where my mind goes to, is like, okay, how does this actually work in the world of animals? But what do they do for doors? That is actually a really, really funny thing to think about. I've never considered that. I guess you could say they do. Maybe. The Planet Fox. Sonia would need that as big and floopy as her tail is. Gotcha. Fun thing to think about. For sure. I'm trying to think. What else am I doing here? too enough space. I want to draw. Meadow. Oops. Right here. So Meadow is a dear character of mine. She's one of the OGs. And you can find her story in a comic that I did called An Unexpected Blessing. That's there on For Affinity and available for purchase on Gumroad and actually on Amazon Kindle. You can buy that. And there, not only will you get the comic, but you can also get access to exclusive, wrong copy, I should say, exclusive guest art that I had. Some of my good friends do guest art for the comic. That includes AFLM from Solarian Sun, Artful Thinking, and Scotty Arts, the artist for Ray Fox. That took a moment. But anyways, all that I do this to show you. So Meadow has the Mrs. Brisby design. She just has a shawl. Color that in with tassels. That's all she wears is a shawl. And no pants, no skirt, no nothing, no loincloth. And it just works for her design. Haru, originally I didn't give her a loincloth, and it's just after a while you're looking at it and you're like, it looks wrong. It looks like she needs something. So I gave her the loincloth. And then of course obviously I have Mousewife, or Misty I should say, and she's got a full-on dress. Other characters, I think when it comes to animals, it just depends on how furry they are and the context of the character and just what's the style. So what I did for this Q&A is and I have some words misspelled here. I'm terrible at spelling, but so she's like, the person said like, what? Hey, you have a loincloth. What do you do if there's wind? She's like, what's wrong with a little wind? Like there's nothing to hide. It's just more fashion. It's just for fun. Whatever I, the creator, decide. I hope I answered your question, Mouse Boy. I'm trying to think. What are some other things to think about? Oh yeah, something that I'm thinking about recently is when it comes to anthropomorphic animals. So like say you're on a battlefield, or say you want a how would you say? So I'd love to do a story that's like Mission Impossible, but it's set in, fantasy world with animals, medieval fantasy. How do you have someone that can communicate with the other members that are across the city? Kind of like you have the tech guy, Benji from Mission Impossible, like, Ethan, you need to unlock the computer, you need to do this, to speaking through the headphones. What do you do for animals? They don't have technology like that. And I'm wondering, is there a way to imply, like, hey, animals communicate through scent? Now, obviously, we're not talking about like marking your territory, and is that a thing with animals, but or anthropomorphic animals? But is there a way to communicate something through scent? So, do you have, like on a battlefield, instead of just trumpets or flags and drums to communicate commands, would you have, for lack of a better term, scent runners? That their thing is, hey, give this command, they release a scent, and through the oil, and I always imagine through the oils on their paws, because animals, we like to think like, oh, they scent through spray or whatever, but really, most animals leave scent marks through, there's glands in their faces, there's glands in their hooves or paws, stuff like that. That's why your cat loves to be scratched either under the chin or like here on the face, because that's where their scent glands are, on the face. But yeah, so I always wonder, do animals communicate that way? And slightly inspired by listening to the Stormlight archives, you're dealing with some of these characters that are called a Parshendi, and they're a different type of race, and everything they communicate is through rhythm, like almost like a song. And so if they're frustrated, they'll say so and so attuned to the rhythm of anger, or to the rhythm of grief and stuff like that. And so I'm considering, could you say like, oh, say we're talking with for example, Willow and Twig, the squirrel characters. If they're having an argument and Twig says something that hurts Willow, would she suddenly uh, would she give off the scent of grief or heartache or something like that? And you have to word that correctly because again, you don't want that mindset of, oh, that means they sprayed somewhere. It's like, no, I don't want that. Um, so yeah, you gotta be careful how you word it. A lot of things to think about if you're actually creating a world with anthropomorphic characters. How does this actually work? Say nothing about what goes on with most animals in different seasons and all that. So let's see. Planet Fox, that'd be cool. Thank you. Mouse Boy, yes, you did it. Thanks. I'll get the books when paid. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'll have the same work. I'll have the same world building with how etiquette works. I imagine touching someone's tail is very rude, but perhaps an intimate gesture with couples. That's actually a really good idea. I've never considered that. That's actually that's very rude, but that's actually a really good idea. Mouse Boy, I've written the same scent language with my mice. It's not purely vocal. By language, scent sound makes up the words. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I got. Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome. It's pretty interesting indeed. That's a really good way to think about it. I have thought, obviously, if you step on someone's tail, that's considered rude. I thought like maybe that's a way to really humiliate. So like back in the day, if you were a thief, they cut off your hand. Like a really big form of punishment would be, okay, you lose your tail, and that would be like this person is marked as a specific type of criminal, a murderer, or just a really terrible person. Or that's just something that you get captured by the wrong group of people, and they're just mean enough that they'll cut off your tail. Who knows? But yeah, I like that about the tail. That's a really good idea. I might use that for some of my stuff. Send plans. Let's see. Nice. Yeah. Obviously, like you can when it comes to anthropomorphic animals, you can communicate a lot through body language more than humans. So like in my book, The King's Heir, one of the compliments I got from someone was saying that I was able to communicate a lot through saying like, the character's hackles raised, their tail bristled, their ears laid flat, whiskers twitch, stuff like that. You're able to communicate a lot through, instead of just saying so and so was angry, you can say their tail bristled, their whiskers twitched with annoyance, or something like that. It is a lot of fun writing with animal characters. Let's see. Planet Fox, I like how expressive you can make an anther character's ears. Absolutely. And when it comes to Haru, one of the problems I'm having is, so like she's got these floppy ears that can perk up, and when she's angry, let's quickly draw her angry. That's a really bad Haru. As in poorly drawn Haru, not a bad version of her, but her ears are floppy ears. Now I could do something like that, but that makes her look more wolf-like, and she's not a wolf-like dog. So I gotta figure out how to get floppy ears to go back. It's something I'm still exploring, and I haven't given it a whole lot of attention yet. But yeah, when it comes to other characters, most animals are able to do a lot with their ears. So let's draw Mari. I haven't drawn Mari in a long time. Mari is, of course, the main character for The King's Heir. She is the queen of the Japanese-inspired kingdom Koshinko. Of course, ears can communicate so much. I'm so used to drawing her in just a simple kimono-esque outfit that I have a hard time figuring out a proper ceremonial kimono for her now that she is queen. And just gotta come up with the proper headdress and all that, decorations for her ears. That's the other hard thing is if you're inspired by a specific culture and you're trying to adapt that for anthropomorphic animals, how do you make that work with animals? Like a lot of times, like we, so yeah, so like if Mari was a human, you say like, oh yeah, she has her hair. Oh, that's a really good question. How do you do hair with animals? But her hair would be in a bun with these, that might be Chinese, I'm not sure, but like with these little pins sticking out of it, or something like that. That's why you could do like, oh, this is a royal person. But with an animal, what do you do for that? Are there ears? So let's say her ears are pinned up. You have a little band there. You have these little things sticking out of her ears, maybe piercings. She's just not looking amused. Uh, yeah, hair is really difficult. So obviously, like I give my characters tufts of hair on the top of their head. Meadow has an actual like hair swoop. So does Misty. Um, of course, you can almost say their fur is their hair. So like Mari has ponytails that she can make because her fur is so fluffy. Uh, yeah, there's a lot to think about with ergonomics. You called it. I love the way you said that. Ergonomics. But yeah. Let's see. Sorry. More. Mouse Boy, taking tails, taking scalps. Yes, use the tail idea. The more people who do, I'll win more arguments against my friends who disagree. Okay, wait a second. I gotta hear the background of this. What do you mean people that disagree with the tail taking deal? That makes so much sense to me. Uh, Explain. Planet Fox. Oh wow, what a cute character. Oh, are you referring to Mari? Thank you, appreciate it. Her book is also available on Amazon, The King's Heir. That should be in the link tree in the description down below. I like her already. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I like her a lot. Let's see. I was gonna say something. I don't know what to say. I like Mari so much. Very tragic story for Mari. And I feel like I owe it to her to. Oh, that's way too high. Let's see. I owe it to her to give her happiness once a great while. That's okay. She can make up for that with. She's got her little adopted daughter, Yuki, which I should draw her. Okay, Yuki. She's got very long ears. And you can't tell from here, but Yuki has two tails. That's the recording. Well, obviously these are very rough sketches. Not very good. Let's see. Trying to think. And then obviously, when it comes to like trying to think how to properly say things. So like say your characters get captured, you can use a muzzle on your characters. So like Haru, if she was captured, she'd have a muzzle put on her, which I mean we'd see that with in real world with animals here in our world. So, but it registers for us. We're like, oh yeah, you've put a muzzle on your character that you don't want them to bite, or you don't want them to speak. Instead of putting a gag on them, you just give them a muzzle. Of course, you're assuming that your villain's walking around with a bunch of collars, leashes, and muzzles. So probably like an army. That'd be like a military type, um, like handcuffs type deal. I guess I don't know. What is there's a lot of things that I think of that I just never put down or never really explain. Obviously, when it comes to outfits, so like when I do my squirrel characters, it's something I've been actually that's really tall tasseled ears, but say Willow. I used to draw them with well, she's still officially her outfit is a loincloth as well. She's a tribal squirrel up in the trees of the Great Forest, but say she's waving. Hello, hello somebody. I was doing this. You can I realized that if she lives in the tree, she can't really and she's bounding from tree to tree, a loincloth might be very impractical. So what I've given her is essentially like a Tinkerbell-esque outfit made of leaves. They're short, they won't get in they can split so they won't get in the way of her leaping from tree to tree. And they're big leaves, so that's what covers her. I think with animals you can use a lot of nature to try and um, build their world. But then of course, like I'm running out of space here, but Buck's or Meadow's husband, Buck, he's uh he's a blacksmith and an antler carver. He's a deer, obviously, and deers have some of the greatest weapons in the animal kingdom. They have these giant horns that they can use, antlers. And of course, every winter the antlers fall off. So you can just collect these antlers and you can carve spoons, dagger handles, make actual weapons out of your antlers. I think any good society will have a good surplus of deer, and a stag can usually make money off of their antlers, I think. Let's see, Planet Fox. Oh, sweet. I forgot you had books. Purchased one just now. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Um, The Mountain Queen, my oldest one, I will say is very old, very cringe. I reread it just recently. I was like, oh my goodness, I hopefully have changed as a writer since then. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, Mouse Boy. Ha! In brief, I explained the tail touching taboo with the idea, and I was down 1v3 in my friend group. They thought no such rude perception would emerge, no worse than any other unwanted bump. Huh. Gotcha, gotcha. I gotta think about that. Hmm. Let's see. They thought no such rude perception would emerge. I'm trying to think. I get. Hmm. I get what they're saying because a lot of animals, you touch their tail and it's not a big deal. The ears, that's something that would for sure be pretty close to off limits for a lot of characters, I think, would be the ears. Like you see dogs. Some dogs are totally fine with being touched by the ears. but a lot of dogs, like that's when you'll get bit, is trying to touch their ears because that's a very sensitive area. So I can understand ears. Tails, yeah, you know what? I'd have to think about that. I've never given any thought to that, other than like obviously you can inflict a lot of pain stepping on someone's tail. That happens to Mari in the book. Someone steps on her tail. Um, you can pull the tail. I think pulling the tail would definitely be rude. Um, but like again, if you're if you're an animal and you're walking out into the village, it's a bustling crowd. Someone's gonna bump into your tail. I I can understand like it wouldn't be considered rude if you bump into their tail just because I mean you got Haru here with a big fluffy tail, someone's definitely gonna run into that. I guess yeah, if it's intentionally handling the tail, then yeah, that can quickly be perceived as rude or intimate. Hmm. Yeah, something to think about. Trying to think. Trying to think of like what would be an equivalent. I realized my camera is pointed up a little too much. I apologize. Yeah, I love these sort of conversations, Mouse Boy. So always feel free to drop some of these questions or conversations because I love talking these. I love trying to figure that out. How does that work? Um, I've always imagined that during the fall, and of course, you also have to think about how do cultures work with anthropomorphic animals? Is it, hey, you're an animal, so like in my world, are you if you're an animal in Koshinko, do you have a specific culture for that kingdom? Or is it animals have their own culture and you just happen to have like a overarching culture? So let's say the Japanese vibe would be for Koshinko, but then each species has their own set of rules, their own culture. Um, so otters are always very. So in my world, otters are a mix of Polynesian, Pacific Islander, and Viking. So I think we're gonna have to lower some of the opacity on here. So like Lutra the Great, which is another comic you can get on Gumroad. Yeah, so most of my comics you can get on Gumroad. Then my books you can get on Amazon. So Lucha the Great, or let's just say an otter. Of course, they got big sea otters. They got such big whiskers. That's just their mustache. But say you got an otter. I draw them. This is a really rough otter. I do apologize. Short, stubby legs. He's gonna have a big Viking-esque cloak, but then he's gonna have like a grass skirt. Really rough example. Um, so like that's my typical otter culture, but are all otters like that, or is it just depending on what kingdom you're from, you might be different? That's something to think about. And then what are the traditions within each animal species? Dogs, obviously, dogs would probably no matter what type of world you're in, dogs will be an outcast type creature. Just like in our world, they are every animal's afraid of them. They're probably despised by the other canine creatures because they are traitors. They became domesticated by humans. So even though in this world there's no humans, they are essentially wolves that allow themselves to be bred with other lesser wolves, and now you have these different dog species. So a wolf and a dog might not see eye to eye. Um, I was going somewhere. Yeah, I was going with one idea I have is for deer. I'm not gonna sketch anything out, but for deer, During the autumn season, uh, how to say, during the autumn season, I thought of like maybe it's a cultural thing where the deer will have a big festival for a week, and that is where all the stags, they fight, they wrestle, they lock antlers, or just wrestling, however animals fight, to impress the does. Um, Obviously, that's what animals do in the real kingdom to impress a mate, or to win a mate. But for a world with anthropomorphic animals, it's just, oh, it's autumn time. This is what we as deer do. We celebrate by having all the guys fight each other, and it's fun. And yeah, you can win the attention of a doe, or if you want to. But so like if Buck joins, he's not gonna be really trying to get anyone else's attention but his wife, and she'll just be like, "Hey, great job out there," just kind of supporting him because it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. Yeah. Let's see, Mouse Boy. In real life, deer eat shed antlers for the minerals. That is also true. A lot of porcupines, and there's I don't know about. I think squirrels might. Yeah, a lot of the smaller animals will eat the sheds. Imagine describing an anthro deer village that was starving so badly in winter they ate the tools and weapons. Well, now I gotta include that in something. That's really funny. Mouse Boy, I have thought of a good image example for the tail thing. That one comic panel of early Beastars where Lois holds onto Legoshi's tail. It's too deliberate. Gotcha. I'm not like I know of what Beastars is. I haven't read it or watched the anime, but understandable. Planet Fox, man, it would be really awful if you moved around a lot in your sleep and you had antlers. Oh shoot, I've never thought of that. Yeah, all those poor does. Yikes. I've always wanted to do like a quick little comic of like, you got Buck and Meadow. Uh, I was very unoriginal with Meadow's husband's name, Buck. Uh, hey, some people call their kids Guy, so it works. But imagine a scene where you go to kiss and you get poked right in the eye with the antler. That hurt. Kind of fox. Lots of shredded sheets. Yeah. That's why I think you keep your your sheets down below your neckline. You also don't have coats or shirts that go over your antlers. It's all button up. Unless you're putting on a suit of armor. In that case, it's totally fine, but it's got to be able to expand if you have a very large rack of antlers. A deer named Buck, I like it. Thank you. If you have antlers, you can't have any shirts that are pullovers. Yeah, exactly. You can't do that. Trying to think. I also have to figure out like how do toilets. Now it's granted they have toilets like humans, I suppose. I just like what's a how would it be designed if it was designed by animals? Obviously, they're not just going everywhere. There's still polite society. Um, there's a lot of things that you can think about. That's like if an animal designed this, like how would a train work? Now, granted, I love the idea of a fantasy world. So my world is very fantasy, as you can tell. Think of Redwall, but with that flair of Beatrix Potter-esque, where it's semi-Victorian age. You go down to the village. Okay, Edwardian. There you go. That's the word. Think of like the Shire. The Shire, Lord of the Rings, is technically high fantasy. It's the Middle Ages, but the Shire is very Edwardian, lower class Edwardian style. I think that's the right term. And I think that's how I feel with my animals. It's Edwardian in medieval fantasy, but um, I love the idea of animals hopping on a train to another village, or going to the coast for the holiday, hopping on a train. What does a train look like? Designed by animals in a fantasy world. Is it steel, or is it a rock made train, or is it wood based? Is it a hollowed out or a tree log that has some way of propulsion? And do they run on steam, or is it magnetized with different crystals that essentially have not a force field, but they push the train forward. So like every couple of feet or every couple of yards, there's a crystal on either side of the railway propelling the train forward, and then vice versa. A lot of things to think about, and mainly because I want a scene where you got these animals on a train and a dinosaur attacks. You have a I always think a Spinosaurus just smashing into a train. You got a train derailment, and now your characters have to survive a dinosaur attack on a train. That's where my mind goes. We are going long. I do apologize. A couple more comments. Uh, let's see. Mouse Boy, would deer have the African style hard pillows, the ones that lift your head off far off the ground? Toilets. See, That's the ergonomics thinking again. I live in the real Shire. All it's all sundered now. Okay. Oh, okay. You live in the real Shire. It's all sundered now. Are you in the UK or in Ireland? I'm separating the two for because I want to be very careful. Where are you? Somewhere in Europe then? Is my guess. And then Planet Fox. That's a fun thing to think about. I like the idea of magic powered trains. Yeah, I don't think of it as magic. So for me personally, I don't really enjoy magic in books. That's just me personally. That's just my personal conviction. As a Christian, I try to avoid magic if possible. Uh, but I do believe this is this is not ergonomics. This is me personally, like out there. I think there's a hint of truth in everything. Not saying like you can go here and you'll find truth, but just like there's there's a reason crystals are always considered magical or there's powers in crystals. I do believe that God designed nature with everything has a purpose. So I do believe that there is something to crystals. I think it's just whatever their properties are, they're misinterpreted. But when people say like, "Oh, there's magic, there's power in crystals," I'm like, okay, I think there's probably something there. Just it's being used for the wrong reason. But there's probably is everything is imbued with energy. Um, like we are what percentage electricity? Um, the grass has like a certain percentage of recharge. For lack of a better term, energy, if you know what I'm saying. Um, Everything is energized. The trees, the grass, water, and our words themselves even have energizing properties, sound, acoustic sound, stuff like that. So I think there is something to crystals. I just don't know what. I just haven't done any research into that. So that's what I mean when I say like a train propelled crystal. Not so much magical, but just there is a property that maybe there you can use them as a magnetic force to push and to draw. Um, but I sound crazy right now. I realize it's just creative people. That's how we talk. Uh, Mouse Boy, the part of the UK the fictional Shire is based on. That's all like the last chapter, but it's all like the last chapter now. The part of the UK. Okay. Oh, you know what? I do beg your pardon. I don't know what part of England that, or what part of the UK that is. Um, yeah, I don't know the names of all the places in the UK. My apologies. But that's I'm really sorry to hear that, man. That's tough. Um, yeah, I've been very blessed. I grew up in Upper Michigan. Um, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is a very it's it's really untouched wilderness in a lot of ways. It's not like Alaska or the middle wilderness of Canada, but it's one of America's last great untapped resources. We have tons of forest. There's not a lot of big cities here. We have some bigger cities, but they're not big. compared to most cities. It's all still, everything has a small town vibe to it. So it's a lot of wilderness, a lot of rivers, a lot of lakes. We have tons of forestry. We have obviously the world famous copper mines, and people have been mining the copper in Upper Michigan since I believe the Paleolithic times. Native Americans have been mining for copper. I mean, and that in itself could lead into a whole conversation that I'd love to have on ancient history and did the Egyptians, did the uh, uh, pre-collapse Bronze Age world have trade ties with North America? That's a whole conversation that's super controversial, and I love talking about that. But we'll do that some other stream. Um, but yeah, we have copper, we have woods, water, fresh water. Um, Supposedly our local river, so Menominee River, is like the main river in our area. Supposedly, we have the largest stream of gold in our river that's been untapped, and they've been trying to mine the Menominee River for years. It's been a big, constant legal battle. There's a company that's always trying to start mining here, and the locals, we don't want it because for whatever reason, mining has never caught up to technology. They still pollute rivers, they destroy habitats. You would think, hey, it's 2026. You should have figured out a better way to mine stuff without being invasive and destroying ecosystems, and they've never figured that out because they don't have to. They don't want to. Um, yeah, we have mines that want to set up here, and we're constantly fighting those. Thankfully, they never won. Well, I hope that never happens. I personally am not against mining. I'm against the way it's done. I think mining companies need to spend the money, be like, no, we need to do research. How do we properly extract minerals or extract gold without destroying the rivers? Um, but yeah, I digress. Anyways, see, I can ramble on for hours, guys. I love streams where I get to talk, however, it gets in the way of my drawing. Let's see. We got a couple of you guys still here. Planet Fox, I kind of figured you were a small town guy like myself. Nice. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, it is 3:07. We're a couple minutes over time. Let's see. Planet Fox, I live in WV. I gotta figure out what WV stands for. West Virginia. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Google. I apologize for that. When it comes to abbreviations, I'm very like, I don't know what that is. But okay, so you're in West Virginia. West Virginia. I'm sure you hate that song. Um, but hey, that's awesome. Oh, okay, you got it right there. Thank you. Which is like all wilderness and a few small towns. Oh yes, I love small towns. I have to be vague. No safety here. Upper Michigan is nice. Ancient ancient civilization stuff I like to could talk all day too. Oh, understandably. And no worries. No worries, Mouse Boy. You don't have to be vague at all. I was just thinking for myself. I was just like, I don't know what town that is, but yeah, no, totally good, man. Uh, Planet Fox, lol, no biggie. Gotcha. All right, guys. I'm gonna close off with a word of prayer. If you guys have anything you guys would like me to pray for before I go, feel free to let me know in the chat. I'll give you a minute or two. If not, no worries. You don't have no pressure. Something you guys are going through, or just hey, I got an interview for a job coming up, or got a test for school, or just something going on in your life that you're like, hey, I'd appreciate prayer. Then by all means, you guys can leave it here in the chat, or you can always message me. I'm always available to. You guys can message to be like, hey, I need prayer for this, or I just need to talk about something. I'm here for that. Or if you have questions on, hey, how does this work in the world of anthropomorphic animals? Ergonomics, that's intriguing. We'll probably have to have a stream where we just talk about ergonomics and have a bunch of questions laid out for us. Maybe we'll have to have you do a panel, like a podcast or something. Let's see, Planet Fox. If you could say one for my mom, she might have cancer. Ugh, okay, yeah, Planet Fox. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, we'll definitely be praying for that. I'll actually do that right now. Dear Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you that we had a great time chatting and here on the stream. And Lord, I pray for Planet Fox's mom. God, I pray that you would be with her and that you would heal her. Lord, we know that you are God of miracles, and we pray that you would touch her, heal her body, give her, her family, and the doctors wisdom. And we pray that it would not be cancerous. And if so, God, that we pray that you would be with her and the family, and that you would use this all for your glory. In your name we pray, Jesus. Amen. All right, yeah, Fox. Let keep us updated on that. Want to hear how things are going. So, and if you ever need to talk, I'm here. So, yeah. All right. If with that, I think we'll be done for today. Thank you guys. I gotta find my deck stream is not our stream deck is not working today, so I have to do everything manually on the computer. But yeah, thank you guys so much. This has been a blast. Um, we'll see you guys tomorrow for the Pay What You Want commission stream, and that'll be the same time, 12:30 Central Time, and we'll talk to you guys later. God bless and cheers.